Ladies and gentlemen of the waiting world, with bated breath you wait for the next item, because I told you at the beginning of the program today we would have with us Gabriel Bradley and my dear friend Benny McKay, musical men of some very considerable excellence, and shortly they will be commemorating in concert mode another great musical man, Paddy Clerkin of Rostrevor, who passed away a few months back, and the boys will be commemorating him in a concert. But to give you a hint of what's going to come, and before we shoot the breeze about the wonderful Paddy, we're going to let you hear a little bit of the music, and we'll do that now.
Right, Gabriel's going to give you a lovely song called Sweet Baby James, written by a man from a Bostonian, James Taylor.
James Taylor, Bostonian.
There is a young cowboy who lives on the range. His horse and his cattle are his only companion. He works in the saddle and he sleeps in the canyon, waiting for summer, his pastures to change. And as the moon rises, he sits by the fire, thinking about women and glasses of beer, and closing his eyes as the doggies retire. He sings out a song which is soft but it's clear, as if maybe someone could hear. Good night, you moonlight ladies, and rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. Deep greens and blues are the colors I choose. Won't you let me go down in my dreams and rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. Now the 1st of December was covered in snow. So was the turnpike from Stockbridge to Boston, and the birches seemed dreamlike on account of that frosting. 10 miles behind me and 10,000 more to go. There's a song that they sing when they take to the highway, a song that they sing when they take to the sea, a song that they sing of their home in the sky. Baby, you can believe it if it helps you to sleep. Singing works just fine for me. Good night, you moonlight ladies, and rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. Deep greens and blues are the colors I choose. Won't you let me go down in my dreams and rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. And rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. And rock-a-bye, sweet baby James.
Boys, did you ever get a song or a piece of music that you simply wanted to go on forever? That's one of those songs.
It is. It's beautiful.
What's it about? Tell us about the story of it, because the musicality was carrying me away from the intelligence in the words. But tell me what it's about.
Written and sung by James Taylor, a Bostonian, and it's about I'm assuming they had a new baby, baby James, and which, ironically enough, I had a wee baby James, a new grandson, christened on Sunday, and the fella that stood from my son in Boston actually did it over camera
On the
some,
Skype
on the
thing.
Skype thing.
Wow.
And, but that was the song that he wrote, and I said to Gabriel, I loved this. I said, "Why don't you start?" I think that's a beautiful. And I always remember Kim Lenihan. She does that program on a Sunday.
Yes.
You know the ones with all the beautiful music, and she seems to pick songs like that. And it's at 7:30 in the morning, and he switched the radio on, and you get that wonderful hour of music that you can sort of lie, sleep, and you let it just
you
absorb
just wash
into
over you.
Wash over you.
We had the great. I was listening to Brother Kevin of the Capuchin Centre last week. He was on with Marion Finucane, and he was quite simply saying, he's of the Dublin Homeless Centre, and he was quite simply saying it's getting worse and worse and worse. But the lovely thing is, he has got a friendship with the Lord Mayor of Dublin, and the two boys have a pact. Kevin and the Lord Mayor, they're going to try and do something about it. Isn't that great?
It is.
That's as good as
Yeah,
it gets,
I
really.
guess, yeah.
So that particular song is there. It reminds me, the baby, a song of praise for the baby, reminds me of Fergal Keane when he was the correspondent in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
He brought his newborn baby out to the ocean.
Right.
And presented the baby to the world and told him, this is,
The world.
it was lovely altogether. So, Benny, Gabriel, you're kind of new kid on the block, but it feels as though you've been here a long, long time. You're very at home in this area.
Yeah.
Where are you living?
I live in Mornpoint.
Yes, you're nice there.
From Mahara originally.
Yeah.
I've been here now 20 odd years.
20 odd years, yes. But you're in the music scene. You're intimately involved in the Fiddler's Green Festival that's coming along.
That's right.
And you are written about here, if I can find it here. Gabriel Bradley, are you ready for this? Are you ready for the embarrassment of this?
Really? No.
Gabriel Bradley, singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer of excellent pizzas.
Yeah.
My God. Gabriel has been a popular performer of the festival for many years. His claim to fame being a rendition of Danny Boy in Donald Duck style. You're joking. You didn't do that. You do that. Give us a feeling of it, just a couple of lines of a feeling of it. Go on. Just give us a wee touch of that. If you can do it for us.
Oh, Danny Boy,
Please, you must do this for us.
the pipes, they are talking. From year to year, I turn to my tent side. The summer's gone, stop laughing. I know the flowers, they are dying. To you, but still, I die more spice.
Will you get this bit now? I wonder.
But I'll be back when summer's in the radio. Oh, when the fire is hushed and white with snow. Days I be here and sunshine. Oh, inside oh, Daddy boy, oh, Daddy boy, I love you. So,
Gabriel, tell us
that live on
where did that come from? Where did that? What was the first time? This is your own customized version. How did this come about? What was the circumstance of the first singing of it?
I was myself and brothers, a couple of brothers and sisters, were queuing one night to get into a nightclub in Bundoran years ago, and the big serious bouncer, and he was letting nobody else in, and he wasn't smiling or anything. And my brother says he can do Donald Duck. If he sings Donald Duck for you, would you let him in? Would you let us in? And big poker face, didn't smile nothing. So I started singing. Well, he laughed his head off and just let us all in.
Yeah, you got gained entry into
Oh,
that.
it was huge. That was absolutely huge. So, as I say, you're one of us. You're welcome. It's lovely to see you. Benny, Paddy Clerkin.
Yeah, Paddy was a great loss to the group. A wonderful person. We always used to say he was the most professional member of the group. He was ultimate a professional. A man that was steeped when the folk music, when the Clancy brothers first hit the road, and everybody sort of became bemused, and then they were followed up by the Dubliners and the Chieftains, and the whole scene sort of moved on. Paddy was in there at the very start. He played along with Brian McCullum, the late Brian McCullum. He cut his teeth with Brian, and also there was another little folk group in Rostrevor called the Owen Row Folk Group, and he played with them, and he just went everywhere where the folk was concerned, and we were very fortunate at the time. We were looking for, like, Paddy played double bass, guitar, 5-string banjo, and he was, as I said, he was a consummate professional. Anything he did, he always did it right. There was nothing left to chance, and he was a wonderful person. A great man with nature. He went out climbing. A great man for swimming. Well, I suppose living in Rostrevor would naturally tend you to that, but he went up into the Cairngorms in Scotland. Young man. Yeah.
What age was he when he went?
Paddy would have been about 65 when he died. And
he always kept himself well. He never looked 65.
No. Paddy, again, a dress sense and that, where we would be very casual. Well, Paddy was casual, but he was really he had a lovely style of dressing. Everything was a deerstalker hat and that when he go out through the woods. And he was a great person, a wonderful. I always remember driving along in the van. We're heading for Roscommon, and Paddy said, "Stop!" And the van squeezed to halt. Barney pulled on the handbrake anyway. So he took us all out into the field to see this cock pheasant. And the beauty of it, as the sun was just going down and the colours that was on it was absolutely radiant. And we stood there for about 10 minutes admiring, and until Eddie Ruddy gave us a slap behind the head and said, "We're going to be late for the gig if you don't get back in." So we eventually had to leave him. But Paddy was very much in tune with nature. And he was a wonderful character, a wonderful person.
I think of Paddy. I think of other great musicians. Even think of the wonderment, the talent, the skill of, say, Mozart.
Yeah.
Where, Gabriel, do you think? This is a slightly philosophical question, but you're a man to deal with it. Where do you think talent goes when talent dies? When the person passes on?
I don't think it does go. I think it's always there. It's passed on, or it's moved into the next generation, or I don't believe it just disappears. Isaac Newton wouldn't believe in that either.
that there's a continuum
Yeah.
of kind. Yeah,
I would agree with Gabriel. I think Gabriel's right when he says that there's always somebody to pick up the chalice, or pick up a 5-string banjo and play, and it continues on. And I know in Ireland, for example, it's quite people would say that the travelling people did an awful lot to keep the music, because at that time they used to go to the fairs and all over, and at that time the music was waning. They kept it, and the people like Maggie Barry and the blind fiddler that used to play at Clonus or outside Thurles at the Munster finals, and the Cashes and these people, the Dorns, who carried on this wonderful music and kept. There's always somebody will pick up the baton.
You mentioned chalice. I certainly don't want to talk to you about religion, because I'm very distrustful of religion. But is it possible to play the beautiful music that you guys play and be an atheist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Are you atheists?
No.
No.
No, but of every sympathy and any atheists, I feel very comfortable sitting with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think they should be allowed to get married.
Correct.
Oh no, I've got the wrong group there, sorry. I beg your pardon. No, it just strikes me that when you see things of beauty in our world, when I listen to that music that I want to go on forever, when I think of what Fergal Keane did in holding his baby high and presenting it to the world, when I think of the sunsets I've seen off the West African coast, when I think of the nighttime on my folk boat, tumbling, sailing across a starlit sea. You know, the reflection there, and it kind of brings you into some sort of contact with the possibility of a God.
Rapport with the universe and the stars, and you look up and you say, well, all this, how did it happen?
Yeah,
Where did
at
it
least you're
happen?
questioning,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about. And you guys bring the touch of God's breath to the ears as we listen to the wonderment that you do. Fiddler's Green's coming very soon, isn't it, boys?
It's coming, and just mentioning to you, well, as you know, we're doing this special concert for Paddy. It's
Yes.
a Paddy Clerkin Memorial Concert.
And it's during the festival.
It's a prelude to the festival. It's
Right.
during the festival. It's part of the festival, but it's a prelude concert. It's on a Friday, the 18th of July, and all the proceeds, it's £8 in, and tickets can be got at the office down in the Fiddler's Green, or there's people come out that are selling the tickets that even they come to me or anybody attached to the group.
But you can pay at the door.
You can pay at the door
as
if you
well.
wish to get in.
Handy.
But
You'll
all-
not be turning anybody away.
No.
You'll get them in,
Yeah.
by hook or by crook.
Yeah. The main thing is all the proceeds are going to the Alzheimer's. That's what Paddy died of. And my mother, Lord of Mercy, died of the same thing. And Paddy died of that. And so everything goes to the Alzheimer's. It's a complete charity night.
Thank
Any
God.
money
Thank God.
or the last hipney that we make will go to that charity.
Thank God.
I went down and seen the people in the Alzheimer's and told them, and they were delighted to see me
yeah.
coming through the door. Just like Kevin there's people that they do a lot of good work for people that have that.
Yeah.
I know when my mother died, that grouping wasn't there, and we missed having any sort of, we missed the support, but they're
Well, you're
great.
able to do something
Yeah.
now. Yeah. You mentioned Kevin. The boys are coming down to the Dublin Homeless Centre out at Smithfield in Dublin, run by Brother Kevin and the Capuchins. Kevin was on with Marion Finucane on Saturday. He's 49 years doing the business of caring for the Dublin homeless. And someday at 1 o'clock for the afternoon time of their dinnering, we have 500-600 people in the afternoon. The boys are coming down and they're going to give them a musical afternoon.
We've only one worry about it, Roland, and that is that we're afraid that if you go down, there's a couple of the boys in the group they might keep. You heard the story that when I was on O'Connell Bridge one day, and
No, do tell.
I was up with my wife in Dublin. She decided to go into Cleary's, and I said, Cleary's is a no for me. I'll
Yes,
have a wee
very
walk
wise.
round O'Connell Street and I look at the statues. So I went down to O'Connell Bridge and I seen this crowd standing. There's now a boardwalk across the Liffey. There's maybe about 400 or 500 people and all standing about looking. So I went down onto the boardwalk in amongst them, and it was a March day, and I pulled the coat up around me, and I sort of sat in amongst them. And I was thinking of that song, Dublin City in the Rare Old Times, and one of the words in it is the big glass cages that rise up along the quay. And I was thinking how Dublin had changed, etc., etc. And I would sort of close my eyes when this person tapped me on the shoulder and handed me soup and sandwiches. And I was sitting sort of aghast, and the fellow beside me had soup and sandwiches as well. And the girl turned around, and written on the back of her Gansey was Samaritans. So I finished up a soup and sandwich.
But you had to take it.
I did indeed. And
Yeah,
the wife said, "What did you do?" I said, "I ate it. It was beautiful." And the strange thing was, I think I maybe lowered the tone of the people that were there.
I wouldn't have thought so. Boys, so the concert for Paddy, Dear Paddy, is on the 18th.
On the 18th, yeah.
And where is it?
It's in Rostrevor. It's in the St. Brona's GAA.
Bonus
clubs.
GAA
Yes.
at Rostrevor, the 18th. What night is that?
That's on a Friday night.
Friday night, no excuse for you.
If you're really looking for something good to do and you want to support a worthy cause, we guarantee you'll have a night to remember. And by the way, if you go to the concert, where it's a true Irish concert, we're going to have a little session in remembrance of Paddy after the concert is over. We'll sit down and we'll go round and we'll talk about the good days we had, and we'll play a few tunes, we'll have a wee drink and sing the night away.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Wish you well, Benny. You're going to play us out with something.
Going to play out with a song that Paddy sang, and again, Paddy loved the old sea shanties. Dedicate this one to you as an old salt or sea dog, and the called the Mingulay Boat Song.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yes, yes,
Paddy
yes,
had he had a great affinity with Scotland, and he sang a lot of Scottish songs. And there we, I suppose we all are. Around the eastern seaboard, people came back and forward. And I didn't get the name McKay for nothing. There has to be a gallowglass or cross-pollinisation of Scottish and Irish.
When I think of your father, Tom, I see Tommy as almost as a Scottish man.
Yeah.
He was a strong man, a strong face.
Yeah, indeed.
And he had the wisdom to wear the good coat in the winter time.
Yeah.
Kept himself right.
But the way the child that was christened on Sunday was christened Tommy.
Thanks be to God.
Thomas. And everybody's delighted with
Thanks be to God. If there is a God, I always
Yeah.
say. Thanks be to God. Boys,
Right,
the Mingulay
the
Boat
Mingulay
Song.
Boat Song. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Swing her head round and all together. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Sailing homeward for Mingulay. What care we, boys? Why the binge? What care we, boys, for wind or weather? What care we, boys, for we're sailing, sailing homeward to Mingulay. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Swing her head round and all together. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Sailing homeward to Mingulay. Wives are waiting by the harbour. Wives are waiting from break of day. Oh, wives are waiting for their menfolk, sailing homeward to Mingulay. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Swing her head round and all together. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Sailing homeward to Mingulay. One more time. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Swing her head round and all together. Hill ya ho, boys, let her go, boys. Sailing homeward to Mingulay. Sailing homeward to Mingulay.
Boys, that was actually tinged with a little bit of emotion, because many's the time I let the head rope off
Yeah.
with the stern rope looped
Right.
and pushed her clear and jumped aboard.
Right.
Swung around.
Yeah.
Jumped aboard, tightened in on the main sheet and on the jib sheet, and away we went. So you brought a lot back.
Memories
And
back.
as a matter of fact, I'm going round to Brian Savage after the programme and getting practical boat owner to get myself a boat again. It's time I had a boat again, I tell you. And it's your responsibility. So listen, stay with me till we tell the people what's coming next. And thanks, boys. The concert, the 18th of this month in St. Bronus in Rostravar.
Yeah.
What time in the evening?
8:30.
8:30 in the evening, and a full night of fun, crack, and all for the Alzheimer's Society here in Northern Ireland.
Be there.
In memory of Paddy
Yeah.
Clerk. And now, you'll both be aware of that great organisation within Catholicism called Trócaire,
Yeah.
reaching out to the world, and their Lenten box campaign has been a mega success this year. Big success. And this year, the money that they raised has been matched by the British government. So they've had twice as much.
Excellent.
Now, there's a lad called David O'Hare, and he's their chief man in Northern Ireland. He came in to me a little while ago,